Guys, just
Oh, that was
just
fun.
yeah, just tell me a little bit about what made you decide to come down in the area. What you talked about during the show, but just what sort of things made you need to come down here to tell the story?
I feel like this is a little bit. This is one of those stories where it is very clear what the potential implications are of this story, and they are daunting. And that's how it feels watching it from far, from a national perspective. And I kind of wanted to come down here to see if I could disprove that, to see if maybe it seemed like a bigger deal than it actually was. Maybe up close this wouldn't be quite as upsetting as it seems. That was not my experience here. I felt like the things that I was worried about, that I felt like were important to cover before I got down here, from up close seemed just as worrying, if not more so.
Okay, and I'm sorry if I jump around a little.
Yeah, and I don't soundbite very well, so you'll have to truncate me probably.
That's why I got out of broadcast. I'm too scatterbrained. Who are some of the local people you talked to? I saw some of you during the show.
Yeah.
Just how much local input, feeling around the area did you do?
You know, we did a lot of, because we were really focused on the Elizabeth City State story, we talked to a bunch of students today at Elizabeth City State, a lot more than actually ended up on the program, and in part that was a technical problem because we shot tape with students this afternoon and had trouble uploading it to New York, which is where it needs to be uploaded to before it can come back here. So there may actually be some more footage of some more folks from Elizabeth City on the show, if not tomorrow, then in coming days. Because we shot a lot of stuff that I want to put on TV that we didn't air tonight.
Oh, okay, so watch this space, that kind of thing for local
Yeah.
people. They'll still see their kids on TV.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's the tape turnaround thing is, you'd think in 2013 it would be instantaneous, but it's kind of hard sometimes.
Ballpark figure on how many students you talked to? Dozen?
Maybe 10 students, dozen.
Okay. Just this is sort of just a logistical question. Just what was it like doing recon here? How many people came down to talk? I mean, I got to talk to some of them, of course, but just how sweeping was the effort, the sort of pre-assessment for doing the show here?
You know, honestly, John, most of the pre-assessment is the reporting that we've done for previous segments on the show over the last few weeks. That's how we knew to be following your reporting and the Daily Advance, and that's how we knew to be reporting, to be following the reporting from the Winston-Salem Journal and some of the other locals who were able. You guys are our eyes and ears in those local meetings. If you're not there, it's hard from a national perspective to be at every county meeting in the country and to know what's happening is important. So a lot of our prep is just what got us interested in coming down here in the first place. We're also not as big an operation as I think we sometimes seem. So
Okay.
in order to shoot that story about Watauga County and Boone, we sent one guy, my buddy Anthony, who's a very experienced campaign reporter who knows how to do everything on his own. And he went down there and met with a ton of people, did that whole bus trip, did all the recon himself, was out there on his own and was down and back. And here, Laura was here a day ahead of me. Laura and Elin were here a day ahead of me. Elin sort of doing logistics for where are we going to shoot and can we get a truck here and can the electrical boards handle all the things we need to plug into them and all that stuff. And Laura figuring out who we could talk to and where we could go, finding you, in other words. And then for me, it's a one-day turnaround. So, you know, this isn't I don't think that we have done any sort of comprehensive or even extensive look at what's going on in the city. We came in and took a snapshot, which is sort of all you can do on a short time frame like this. But I'm really happy to have met people and had the chance to have these conversations.
All right. What's the potential for future stories coming down here? Are you going to be coming back down for other on-location kind of things, or is New York looking better for you?
You know, we don't do a lot of on-the-road stuff. I mean, we have done on-the-road trips in the past. You know, we've done some stuff in the Gulf Coast, and I've done some overseas trips and war zone trips and things like that. But we don't jet around all the time. We're just not that kind of show. This is just one of those stories that I felt like was too hard to see clearly from far away. So that's why we came here. And you know, and if need be, we'll come back, just keep covering it. I do sort of feel like this is we're in the early stages of a really big fight in this state over this very specific rights issue. And I just feel like the more people hear about it in this state, the more people feel strongly about it.
Do you see parallels between where we are now and where Wisconsin was a few years ago in terms of potential political backlash against, 2010, there was a big GOP takeover, there was the collective bargaining issue that occurred. Scott
Yeah.
Walker nearly lost his job. Do you see parallels between the two trajectories?
It's an interesting question. I would have said no before a couple of weeks ago, before your governor signed that law, the voting law. Looking at the Moral Mondays protests and those mobilizations, they are impressive and they are growing, especially as they travel around the state, and they still have real big turnout. It's that's an impressive protest movement that is making itself heard even beyond the bounds of the state. But because the message of Moral Mondays is about the litany of things that the right is working on in the state, that Republicans are passing in the state, it has by its nature been a diffuse message. We disagree with the direction things are going, which is a hard thing for anybody else to repeat, hard to become a rallying cry for anybody else. This voting thing, though, it may be one thing among many that people in the state are upset with, but I think that it is resonating in a way that is almost becoming more clarion. At least that's what it seems like to me in talking to people. Not only talking to people here, but talking to other people around the country who are hearing about what's going on here.
Okay, last topic. Just what made you start really promoting local newspapers on the show? You explained a lot of it.
Gratitude. Gratitude.
I love the plug. I just wanted to get that in your own words. What just made you decide to start devoting airtime?
I would not know what was happening in those Board of Elections meetings if you had not been there reporting on them. And the same goes for Forsyth County and for Watauga County and for the local reporters who are able to get in there. And I realize it is a considerable devotion of resources for local papers to have their reporters out sitting through those meetings and spending all that time waiting for something important to happen, and being there just in case, even on the days when it doesn't happen. And I'm so grateful. It is such a service. And sometimes, things happen that give you interesting local color, but sometimes things happen in those meetings which the whole country ought to hear about. And that's true of Elizabeth City. And were it not for you being hired to work that beat and your editor telling you to go there, and then that paper existing to print that story, nobody would know. And so I'm grateful, and it's a mitzvah. And I think we all need to do whatever we can to support the survival of local, professional, full-time reporting.
All right, thank you very much. Is your tolerance for mosquitoes higher after the show?
Well, the good news is that I lost 3 pounds during the show. The bad news is it's all in blood.
Oh. All right. Well, cool. Thank you so much.